right, let's begin. Part 2, Bow Cozy, the finish. Gonna need a friction pen, a ruler. Don't need this. We need our pieces that we completed. And you want to make sure they're the correct size. So take them, put them on top of each other. Because now that you've quilted them, they're going to be a different size probably. Okay, if you're going to quilt them each differently, they're going to be different because they're going to pull in. So you're taking the smallest one. Let's say this was this size right here. Then what you would do is you'd take your ruler and your rotary cutter. Go like this on the corner. Go ahead and cut them off. Put your lid on there and round it off. And then you're finished, and they're both the same exact size. Now, get you some pins out. I've tried it with clips. It doesn't work for me, but if you want to use clips, that's fine. You're going to take them upside down. You're going to fold them in half. You're going to take one pin, and you're going to put it as about a little bit more than halfway towards the edge, because we're going to be marking up here where it's folded. So we're going to pin them first to make them stable so they don't move on us. And then what I do is I take my ruler, put it in between here, and I push it out. And as I push it out, I smash it down. I want to make sure that I'm getting a really nice, good little seam on it. And then you're going to take this ruler, and this is a 1-inch ruler. I mark 2 from the top, and I put it on the end down here at the tip. And it's already 1 over, and mark it there. And then while it's still smashed, I take my pencil or my pen, and I mark it. Just like this. Because that's what I'm going to sew. Now, if you want to take your pen and you move it down a little bit, that's fine. It just needed to be out of the way to start out with. Go over to the next size. Let's make sure you're in the camera there. And I do the same thing. What I'm doing when I do this, when I go inside, is I am making sure that I'm getting all the folds and everything out when I push it over that way. So I go 2 inches down and 1 inch over and mark it right there. Trying to get my hands out of the way for you. Take it from this corner to that corner. Mark it with your pen. It won't make any difference what kind of pen you use because this is going to be on the inside and you're not going to see it. And we're going to do both of them like that. Now we're going to go over and we're going to sew. You do not necessarily need to make a knot up here at the top, but yes, you need to make one at the bottom. This is the bottom of the bowl. And you can use whatever color you want. You're not going to be able to see it. I usually, whoops. Okay. And I'll normally do this 2 or 3 times when I get to the bottom. I'm just trying to make it so that it doesn't come out. This is where your dart is at in your bowl when you're making it. The second one. Hopefully the dog doesn't knock the camera over. We're doing the same thing. Looks like I got off my line there. This way here. And then before you flip, take out both the pins and turn it, and then go like this to see that there's no pucker in there. See how there's no pucker right there? Turn it this way. Looks good. Let's look at the next one. Since they're both sewn like that, and flip it. It looks good. And that one looks good. Now, that's 2 of the darts. That's what that's called, a dart. Now we're going to make the next 2. So we're going to come over here on this table. Take your fabric this time, and we're going to fold it this way. And we're going to pin it again. You got to do them both like that. And when I first started this, believe it or not, I was putting the darts in the wrong place. So it helped me when I put the ruler in and moved it out, because then I knew that I wasn't getting the dart in the wrong place. I don't know why I managed to, but I did when I first started. Alrighty, so the darts that are made are going to be on the outer edge here. This is the outside, this is the inside. So we're going to mark it just like we did before. So I'm going to take it and pull it out. I know you're thinking, oh, she's mashing all that batting down. Well, I got news for you. That batting's going to pop right back up. That is not going to hurt that at all. You could even iron your batting and it's still going to pop back up, I'm telling you. Because I've done that before. There's that end. Now we want to get it on this end. Remember, 2 inches down and 1 inch over. That's all we need. Otherwise the dart will be too big and your bowl will be too small to hold anything. But you can play with it for size if you want to. Make it whatever your own is. And you can make these bigger to hold bigger pots. I've made one big enough to hold a 9x13 pan because I've taken it to a family outing. And then I've made them smaller than 10 inches. I don't think I've got one right here. I did give a couple of the little bitty ones away, but they're really cute to put stuff in. And I don't have one right offhand. I'm trying to think what I have in one. There we go. This is the last one to mark. And now we're going to sew these. Now we're going to cut off the excess off of this right here. Now it's not a lot, it is just a little bit. You're going to do it to both of the bowls here. Otherwise that's way too much thickness. I've got a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch there that I'm keeping. All right. Now what you want to do is you're going to put right sides together and the darts together. So here's a dart opposite another dart. You want the bottom dart to go to the right and the top dart to go to the left. The reason that is because you're going to be paying attention to when the dart goes across that sewing machine, and if it's the opposite direction that I just said, you're going to end up with a mess, because since you can't see it, you're not going to know when you go over it, nor are you going to know that it's flipped up on you. Go to the corners, you're going to pin, or either clip or pin. I just put a clip, and do the same thing all the way around, and you're nestling up just like if you were doing piecing a quilt. Then you want to do it in each corner. And they should all be matching pretty well, because these are both the same sizes. You shouldn't have any problem or any kind of difficulty. Maybe your hands clipping it might be difficult. Might be too small or something, but you're going to go all the way around it. And if it's easier for you to do it in your lap, then do it in your lap. You don't have to do it at the table. I'm doing it because I'm showing it. Otherwise, normally I just have it in my lap. And now when I choose the opening, because we have to have somewhere that it's open, because you got to be able to turn it inside out. So I go to one of these intersections here that has the dart. And this is where I'm going to make my opening. So I'm going to use a pin now so that I stop and start and I don't accidentally close my hole. I'll know it with a pin since I've been using the clips this whole entire time. And then you want to keep in mind that this is on a curve, so you're going to want to have it stop and start on a straight. Wherever you feel this is straight right here, but it starts curving up there, that's why I've marked it right here. I'm going to start sewing on this end right here, and I want to sew straight before I come around the curve. Otherwise, if you try to do it on the curve, it is going to be harder than heck to sew this shut when you're totally finished with it. Let's do it this way, and you can always tweak it to what you want to do after you see the way I do it. This bowl doesn't get in your way. So here I am, and I've got the pin right here. I can take my clip off because it's not going anywhere. Put the edge of your foot right on the edge of the fabric, just as if you were sewing something else 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to back stitch it. You know what it's like to put pressure on a seam, so you're going to back stitch it about 4 times, because we don't want it to rip while we're turning it over, turning it inside out. And then we're just going to slowly start coming around our corner. And make sure that these are turned the correct direction. I'm coming up on them. And then I'm going to come up to the seam. As soon as I stop in the seam, I pivot my bowl, because I'm trying to keep with the side of the fabric. And this is all 2.5. I haven't changed it any. I'm going to, I tell you what, as soon as I get around this corner here, I'm going to set this, let me see if I can set up this video behind me over here, because I know I'm losing it. I hope you can see this. Now notice I have it lined up here, and I'm coming up on this. I've got this flipped towards me, and that one is going the opposite direction. And when I come up here to where these 2 pieces are stitched, the dart, right up here to that then instead of keep coming, you pivot. And the reasons you pivot is because that goes straight down and then it goes to the side. It's not a straight going around a corner or anything. This will make it sharper, the bow cozy. Now we're going to come around the corner here, just like this, slowly coming around, holding onto your fabric. Take our clip out. We're coming straight down here to this. We're coming right down to here, and then we're going to turn it so we can go down this way. Otherwise, if we kept coming, we'd come out up into here. We don't want to do that. We want to turn here. So we go right down here. Once we get into the thick of it, which is right there, and now we turn it that way. And then we're going to be turning around our curve again, just like this. And after this next one, we're going to be stopping because here's where we're going to come up to our pins. Hopefully my hands aren't in the way. So I know now my pin is right there. So I took my pin out because I'm going to stop when I get up here to this intersection right here. I need to go one more time. Now I pivot, and then this is where I'm going to be locking it into place. And I've already locked it into place here, as you can see. Now this is where we're going to turn it inside out. The first thing you do is I put my finger in there, and the total opposite is way over here. So that's what I want to push through that hole. So I grab it and push it with my finger. I got my finger right there with the fabric on it. And then I grab it. And that's what I do. I pull that. Just slowly pull it. Just like anything else. You're not going to rip it because you've already sewed a lot of back stitching on that, on this part right here, which is going to have a lot of stress on it. So you're just slowly pulling it out. You can push it in if you want to. Push some more in, like the corner right there. Keep wiggling it around here. Let's push some more through there. And if you use one of these tools, don't use anything that's too sharp. You'll put a hole in your bow cozy. Eventually it all comes out. And then what I do, put my finger in right here at the closest one, and I'm rounding that corner. Then I go to the next corner right here and I round it. Go to the next one. I round this corner. And then get this last corner over here. And see, that's so easy to round that out. See? And then all you're doing is right here, which is your opening. This is what I do. So now you need to decide, because what I do is, since these are two different colors, I will put a red if I use it for sewing it down, because we're going to sew it down around the edge here. So if you're going to sew it on the red size, I would use red, because this is the color that I did the quilting in, which is red, or black would work on this side. This one I will probably use a light yellow, which I have, or I could use a red also in that. But decide which end is going to be the bobbin thread and which is going to be your regular thread, the top stitching thread. Make sure it's in cotton, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch it. But first, I like to take it and I like to iron it. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to sew in the red. So the first thing I do, and these are all little glass head pins, by the way, because they can tolerate the heat of the iron. And I pin my hole that's right here for the opening. I go ahead and I pin it shut before I iron it. You line it up really good, just like this. And it takes anywhere between 3 and 4. I'll put one more on it. And it looks like I need a little bit, my corner needs to come out a little bit more, so I don't know if this pin, let's see, that's not a small one. I need a small pin. Here we go. Since I already did that, I'm poking it in here just to pull out the corner there. Okay. Now let's take it over here and we'll iron. Make sure your iron is hot. I'm going to try to face this to you guys and do it with my left hand. You take your iron and you're putting it into where the darts are. And the object is to smash this down so that when you sew it, none of the other side flips up and you don't have to see that. So you're going to make sure your fabric is a little bit that way. And you can use your hands first. Doesn't hurt a thing. And then go like this. And go into every one of these little pockets here. My lunch. Go to this one here. Looks like I got a piece of thread. I'll have to cut that off here in a minute. Hopefully you guys can see all of this. Alrighty. There, it's ready to go over to the sewing machine. So when I start this, I want to go ahead and I want to close up my opening right off the bat. So I'm going to start on this other side over here, on the straight, and I go based on my foot. So that's how you want to judge wherever you're wanting to sew. Now, if you've done it this way, it's not that thick up in here because you don't have all that great big huge batting and everything up in the seam. So you don't have to increase your length stitch on your sewing machine. So I am still sewing with a 2.5. You don't need to lock it in place because we're going to go over the top of it when we come around, because we're going all the way around this circle. This is called top stitching. If you want to change your needle because you've heard all these stories about you need a certain size and everything, feel free to do that. But I'm going to let you know that this 12 needle that I have, and I've been using this entire time, will work just perfect. I don't have to change out anything. And you can make this any size seam you want. It doesn't have to be the size that I'm ended up with. It could be smaller or larger. You can even do a decorative stitch around here. You can use a double needle. Any of those things will work. And when you get to the end of it, which is up here in this great big huge thick intersection, just like when we were doing it before, we're going to sew all the way up until we get in that intersection. I'm going to make sure I get into it. I got one more stitch, and then I'm going to pivot. This avoids all the bulk and the turning over of your fabric because it feels like it doesn't have the adequate space to go where it needs to go and ends up flipping. And just slowly go around the corner just like we did before. Make it as nice as you can. I feel like I've got a piece of string there. Coming up to that intersection again. If you need to help your sewing machine push it along, go ahead and do that. It's not going to hurt anything. You're the operator. Another stitch. 2 stitches. Okay. Coming around down to the beginning again. I'll show you both sides when I get it done here. Uh-oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, I just now noticed it. I did not knock out my tension release from that last project we were doing. I should have shut my machine on and turned it back on. Let's go down here and see. Although it didn't do bad. Let's clip this right here. That's the red coming on the yellow. So here's the bowl. I didn't bring a bowl upstairs to show you. Oh, let's just go with this bowl. So if that was a bowl in there, you put it in the oven, you pick it up like that in your microwave. I think I need to clip this too. And there you got it. So you can use it on this side, or you can flip it over and use it on this side. Whichever side you want, put your bowl in there, put it in the microwave, cook it, and bring it back out. And there you go. There's your bow cozy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Make yourself a couple of these for Christmas. Give them away as gifts if you want. Now I'm going to actually sell these on my website when I get it up for the people that do not sew, that want to buy something for their loved ones. Just letting you know, that'll be one of the first things that I sell. And then I may be selling some bags. I don't know yet. But thanks everybody for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.